Yeah, this is the so for Bill Ackman, by the way, Ayaan Hirsi Ali came up with an incredible take. She's now Christian, by the way. She used to be one of those like former Muslim edgy atheists, and then she converted to Christianity. So, you know, obviously, as expected. And she wants Bill Smoke Crackman to run. Ackman offers exactly what New York needs: competence, economic understanding, and the courage to lead with principle. Now, of course, she's a grifter, and she just wants money from Bill A. Ackman. I, on the other hand, want Bill A. Ackman to run and make a fucking fool of himself, which is why I am also on board. This is one of the very unique moments, one of the very few instances where I'm on board with something that Ayaan Hirsi Ali is saying. Okay? For those of you who don't know, Ayaan Hirsi Ali is a psychopath, a played a formative role in European Islamophobia, and was one of those guys early on or one of those ladies early on that was constantly talking about like Islamic hordes coming into Europe and like ruining the beautiful Western civilization and whatnot, and she probably convinced a lot of people. She was like a new atheist, one of those like former Muslim new atheists that now has taken the Christianity pill, which was expected. She's no longer an atheist. She is now officially a Christian herself. Doors open. Okay. But yeah, she's one of these like Islamophobic grifters. As a duchy, how is Hirsi Ali still relevant? She's not. She's not. She's not really relevant at all. I would say that she lost her relevance like maybe she lost her relevance like probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's pronounced Hirsi, not Hershey. Oh, okay. I don't really care, but all right, good. Thank you. Hirsi. Ayaan Hirsi Ali. She was also mentioned by name in the Anders Breivik manifesto, for the record. Like, that's the kind of freak she is. I remember this working on me back in my teen era because I trusted her as a sincere advocate warning us about how bad Islam is, and I fell for it. Yeah, this is the role that these guys play. But yeah, I agree with her. I think Bill Ackman should do a write-in candidacy. Now, of course, this is what Bill is doing. CEO of Pershing Square, Trump booster, and an all-around Islamophobic sociopath. Bill Ackman has been cooking up a plan. Of course, everyone was wondering what this plan was going to look like. He was like, oh, well, I'm going through the motions and like trying to figure out what legal routes we have available to us. I'm not going to read all of this, but I'm just going to summarize it. Basically, he says that it's not that long of a time frame for you to run, right? He's putting out a call here saying, if you're a candidate who's young, dynamic, charismatic like Zohran, basically glazing Zohran, and then saying you're a part of the business community, you can run like a Bloomberg-style candidacy here, okay? And you can win because we have unlimited money to put on your candidacy. We have unlimited dollars that we can fund your candidacy with. Hundreds of millions of dollars are ready to go. Okay? And yeah, Krang says, I'll say to save you from reading what appears to be 20,000 word tweet, Bill is offering gobs of cash to anyone who's willing to run against Zohran. I wonder if he ever stops to consider that optics of being a billionaire and doing this sort of thing. He's not. Okay? So he's saying that, like, I will give you hundreds of millions of dollars. We already have it ready to go. I've talked to some of my billionaire buddies. If you just, like, put up an opposition candidate against Zohran. However, there is also a legal hurdle here. It has to be a write-in candidacy because the stage is already set for who can run. That's why Andrew Cuomo had set up an independent line for himself in the general. That's what we talked about, if you recall. And that's precisely why Eric Adams had already set up an independent line under the Stop Anti-Semitism ticket. Okay? And whoever won the Democratic primary was going to run as a Democrat. Now, of course, the Working Families Party had also set up a Working Families Party line, potentially for Zohran Mamdani if he had not won the primary. But the point is, you have to set this up ahead of time. You can't just like add your name into the pile in the last second, which is precisely why if Bill Ackman wanted to create an alternative candidacy in the general election instead of like throwing his hat in the ring for any of these people that are already running, he would have to do a write-in candidacy, and that is not going to work. There is 0% chance. There is not enough money, and there's not enough resentment towards this incredibly popular candidacy of Zohran to actually put together a write-in candidate with 100 days or 200 days remaining. Now, he actually uses that as an advantage because he says the problem is that his policies would be disastrous for Zohran. He glazes Zohran, okay? And then he says his policies would be disastrous for New York. Socialism has no place in the economic capital of our country. The ability for New York City to offer services for the poor and needy, let alone average New Yorker, is entirely dependent on New York being business friendly, blah, 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 all this bullshit. Basically, he says there is not that long of a time frame. If 100 or so of the highest taxpayers in my industry chose to spend 183 days elsewhere, it could reduce New York City state and citywide revenues by 5 to 10 billion or more. That's my industry. He basically says it's not going to be that long. Setup is extremely attractive for a run for mayor. There are only 132 days until the election, which means the commitment of time to run is de minimis. This will be the most closely watched mayoral election in New York City in decades, perhaps ever, which, particularly in the social media and podcast era, creates the opportunity for a new candidate to garner immediate name recognition, enormous media interest, and the visibility needed to get elected. He literally is saying, even if you don't want to fucking run, please run, because honestly, it would be so sick if you ran. You can do podcasts. If you ran, you could get a lot of name recognition, and it's not that long of a time to run anyway. Please, it's like he's using this as a talking point. Why the fuck do you think this would be a successful candidacy to unseat the guy who got more votes than Eric Adams did already? Like, remember, they're not even talking about the work that you need to do once you are mayor. This is just about trying to rat fuck Zohran. Importantly, there are hundreds of millions of dollars of capital available to back a competitor to Mamdani that can be put together overnight. Believe me, I'm in the text strings of the WhatsApp groups so that a great alternative candidate won't spend any time raising funds. So if the right candidate would raise his or her hand tomorrow, the funds will pour in. I'm sure that Mike Bloomberg will share his how to win the mayoralty IP and deliver his entire election apparatus and system to the aspiring candidate so that the candidate can focus on all of his or her energy on the campaign. One unfortunate fact, as far as I understand, is that the candidate will have to be a write-in.